Feeling very Icelandic. I'm looking at ice. There's a landline in my room and I'm not opposed to dick. Hi, my name is Helbig. If you did not know, now you know your life is different now. I've seen a lot of people doing these very honest Q&As here on YouTube, so I thought, why not? I've been on the internet for now 7, 8 years, something like that, so why not start telling you the truth about me? I'm sure a lot of what you might hear in these answers are things that I've said in other videos or in my books or on my podcast or whatever, but hey, let's talk about the weird, awkward stuff in an awkward Q&A. I went on Twitter and asked you guys for questions using the hashtag awkwardlyaskgrace, and do you all work for UPS? Because you guys really delivered. Let's just do this, okay? Let's just jump right in. When did you lose your virginity? It's a real easy question to start off with. I wrote about this in my book if you didn't read it already. I've talked about it numerous times in videos, but for those of you that do not know, I lost my virginity when I was 18 years old. I was a freshman in college. A guy that I was sort of dating on my indoor track team asked me on a date for Valentine's Day, and I was so excited. I've never been on like an official date before, so I went to Macy's and I got myself the most Avril Lavigne looking skirt with even like a little chain on it. She was really cute at that time. Maybe she wasn't cute at that time, but I liked her aesthetic and thought she was cool, and she and I shared the same birthday. And then he took me to a Macaroni Grill, which if you are not familiar is a chain Italian restaurant in which they give you crayons and you can draw on the tabletops. And I thought, oh my god, this is the fanciest meal I've ever had in my life. Let's do this. And by this I mean sex. And it was not good, but we dated for 2 years, so. Oh, the places you can go when you give a girl an Avril Lavigne skirt the opportunity to draw on the tablecloth. Weirdest thing you've done in public? There's a couple of things. Before I started making YouTube videos, I was doing a lot of odd jobs and a lot of shoots. One of my first like paid acting gigs was for True TV. I worked as an assistant to a process server. A process server is someone that serves people legal papers, like divorce papers or papers, the warning of suings and things like that. So there was this like pseudo reality television show on True TV about this process server named Byron, and they'd been going on for seasons, and Byron was a real life process server in real life. So they brought me in as this new storyline as this like dipshit airhead assistant that was just like girly and like totally incapable. So they would set up scenarios all around Manhattan and New Jersey, and then we just have to improvise out these scenarios, and they always turned into like crazy elaborate physical things. One was in a salon in Harlem where we had to serve the salon owner papers, and he ended up getting burned on a curling iron and throwing like talcum powder everywhere. Don't you think in your car? You wanna do, bitch? You wanna do? One was a pizza shop in New Jersey, and they ended up throwing pizza dough in my hair and pouring lasagna on our car. Believe you. What is that? Oh my god. One was we had to serve this like high profile hedge fund dude while he was jogging in Central Park, and I had to jog along with him, and then Byron and him got into an altercation, and the security guards came out of nowhere and like lifted me up and carried me away. Don't touch him. Don't touch him. You were sorry. You would have to do these stunts in public and let them play out for like 15-20 minutes while the public watched, and then we'd have to do them again and sometimes a third time, and it was some of the most embarrassing stuff I did, but you know, I was really dedicated to the art of improvisation and acting, and I really wanted to make it big. What's the worst part about being a YouTuber? Obviously there's a billion tremendous things about being a YouTuber, but one of the worst parts about being a YouTuber, or just being in the creative world in general, is comparing yourself to other people. I struggle with that a lot. I sometimes get into really negative headspaces because it's so easy to compare numbers and to compare statistics and to wonder why you aren't doing as well as other people. And that is a very, very terrible, isolating, and discouraging thought process that I have to learn to shake for myself, because it gets you nowhere. It just wastes your time. So instead, focus on the things you can control and can do. That's not me saying that to you, it's more me saying that to myself. So, you're just here for that, thanks, I guess. Awkwardest teenage moment story. I think I've told this story before too, but I'll tell it again. When I was in high school, I worked at Chili's, my favorite restaurant, so I'd already peaked in my career endeavors at that point. I was a hostess, and I had a crush on one of the busboys, and after work they used to go to this billiards or like pool bar where they would smoke and play pool, and so my friends and I went with them one night and I lied to my mom and said I was sleeping at my friend's house, and really I was trying to stay out and hang out with these busboys from the restaurant. I did actually end up sleeping at my friend's house, but they all went home and I tried to stay later, and like nothing was gonna happen with this boy, nothing did happen. So I walked to my car to leave, and as I was leaving the parking lot, there was a light, and this car had been stopped at the light, and I was trying to pull up next to the car so I could make a left-hand turn. And when I pulled up next to the car, I have no spatial awareness. I'm the worst driver. Wasn't drinking at all this night. My car, which I called the Ox at the time, a 97 Dodge Intrepid. These are not important details, but it paints a picture. The side view window on the right passenger side knocked into this car's side view window and knocked it off. Immediately, I didn't know what to do, and the car got right behind me, and it was this total South Jersey bro dude, tatted up, with two very minimally clothed women in the car, and the guy thought I was a guy, and so he just starts raging out. He starts screaming at me, "You knocked my window off, you knocked my window off, I'm gonna go beat the shit out of me." Gets out of his car, the girl's like screaming at this guy. I don't know what to do. The light's still red, it hasn't changed, so I can't drive away. He gets up to my window as if he's going to rip me out of the car. He gets in and he sees that I'm like a little scared child. I think I was 16 or 17 years old, and a little scared girl staring back at him, like tears in her eyes, and he was like,
"Oh, yo, I'm sorry. I thought you were. I'm so sorry. I can pop this back into place. Don't worry. I'll pop it back into place."
And he just literally popped his window back into place, got in his car, and drove away. It all happened so quick. I was so terrified. And when he had driven away, I finally looked down and I had pissed my pants. Which answers a lot of your questions that you guys tweeted at me about when the last time was I full-on pissed my pants, and I think that was it. Oh, so many memes are coming up in this awkward Q&A. Do you enjoy compliments, or do they make you uncomfortable? Compliments make me uncomfortable, but I'm learning to take them better. What should you do when you're suddenly struck by your period while in public? Ooh, get thee to a toilet and make thee a tampon out of toilet paper until you can get yourself a real tampon or a pad or whatever you need to do. That's my piece of advice. That's a fun, you know, little mental game for yourself if you're really bored in a place. Just look around and think, what could be a tampon? What's the worst thing about dating? Ooh, I think the worst thing about dating is finding someone that you're very attracted to that kind of checks off all the boxes of person that you want to investigate more as a potential situation, and then finding out that they're unavailable. That is so heart-gutting. Gets all the guts out of your heart. Are you doing another film this year? Hopefully yes. And hopefully more than one. That's all I'll say about that. Would you ever make a video of you trying to see if food life hacks really work or not? Yeah, definitely. If that's something you guys want to see, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Should I do a food hack video? Should I jump on that bandwagon? I'm really good at jumping. I did triple jump when I was in high school. Track and field. What's your favorite movie/TV project you've done so far? We've done so many awesome projects. One of my most favorite that unfortunately didn't get as much promotion as I was hoping it would get was Electric Woman Diner Girl that Hannah Hart and I did. I believe it's still on full screen. I think you can still watch it on iTunes. I love that project so much. It was such a joy to film, and so if you guys haven't checked it out, please do. YouTube crush. I have a group crush. I have a big boner for that friend group that is Scotty and Toddy and Zane and Heath and Liza and David and those kids. I think that they're really fun, and I just wish they had asked me to hang out and get drunk with them. Was that so desperate sounding? What was your most awkward dream? Ooh, recently I dreamt twice, 2 separate dreams in one night, that I was just chewing glass. And it was getting stuck in my teeth and I couldn't get it out of my teeth. Like corn, a sharp, painful corn. When you see an ex-boyfriend, do you ever think, wow, meth would have been a smarter, bad decision? No, I think all of my ex-boyfriends have been in my life for a very important reason, as maybe cheesy as that sounds. But I like to look back fondly on the relationships I've had and really try to process what I gained from them and how I've grown since then and what I've learned. God, I'm old because that sounds really healthy. What's the weirdest thing you've woken up to after a particularly drunk night? I've woken up to my keys in my refrigerator. I've woken up to so many different food combinations, many different clothes, mine strewn everywhere, onesies that I decided to try on by myself, I guess. Lots of fun little treasures. Are you getting bored or frustrated with YouTube? Sometimes I am. It's only normal that you would get bored or frustrated or burnt out or worn out by a thing you're doing, especially after 7 or 8 years of doing it. I think I'm in a little bit of a valley and I'm trying to get up to a peak. How do I get up to a peak, you guys? Really gotta work on some clickbait thumbnails and titles. God damn it. Did you ever bring anything awkward to show and tell at school? In kindergarten, I brought my pussy. My family had just gotten a kitten named Tigger and I brought it to show and tell. Okay, that's it for this awkward Q&A. I hope this was fun for you guys. If you like this kind of video, let me know because this is, I don't know, kind of therapeutic and kind of fun to make, so maybe I'll make more. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it and you want more awkward Q&As from me, your awkward older sister, Grace Ann Helbig the First. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel because that's how I know that people want to see things. I make videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday sometimes. Other than that, I don't know. Similar to what you ask in Not Too Deep, describe your worst sexual experience in 3 words or phrases. Did you fart?